All right, let's see what Ford's game is talking about. I like him. See what he has to say.
Hey
See.
everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be checking out some of the best looking new RPGs coming in 2025. That's it. Let's do it. Okay, so first up is a game that is just about to come out, and that is Monster Hunter Wilds. Gotta say, I am incredibly pumped. All the early impressions have been glowingly positive. I myself adored what I played of the preview. And I mean, hey, this is just looking like Monster Hunter World, but even bigger and even better, which, yeah, absolutely, sign me up. Anyway, Monster Hunter Wilds is very likely going to be a great game, and it comes out very,
It's gonna
very
be
soon. Here
very
are some of the
good.
basics. So the game still absolutely relies on the franchise's classic formula. You go out,
Is
moving
that
through
like an
large
octopus
environments, tracking
monster?
down massive monsters, fighting and killing them, and then taking their parts to craft these distinct weapons and armors that basically have you looking like the monster itself. Rinse and repeat. That is the whole process. Now, the entire fun of this series is learning all those different fights, with each monster basically being like a boss encounter in other games, essentially, and using a vast array of tools from your weapons, which essentially
Mm,
function as classes, to consumables and the environment to take them down. That coupled with a whole lot of crazy stuff happening like all the time, often hilarious moments like getting yeeted off of a cliff, falling down like hundreds of meters, or having other monsters join mid-fight, all of a sudden just clashing and the two monsters are fighting while you're trying to fight the first monster, or uppercutting a massive boss just before he strikes you, slamming away at his head as he sits there dazed on the ground. There's just like a lot going on constantly, even more so now with Wilds introducing these dynamic and ever-changing weather and seasons that come into play. Combat feels as good as ever. If you're unfamiliar, Monster Hunter is an action combat game with quite a big bit of animation locking. The whole idea here is that you're meant to learn the moves and the attacks of the different monsters, using windows of opportunity as your chance to strike, as every weapon not only comes with its own move sets and different damage types, but also unique mechanics. In fact, in Monster Hunter, yeah, weapons essentially function as playable classes. They are all quite different from one another and require their own learning and understanding. The more you play, the more you learn, you'll improve with experience, which is that's like a big chunk of the fun and satisfaction from playing this game. With Wilds also comes a few new features and mechanics for everyone. So there's focus
it's a
mode. This is
long
essentially a targeting
section.
option that lets you directly place attacks, as well as revealing any weak points on monsters you're fighting. The Slinger returns with all of its standard variety of ammos you can toss out, used to damage and distract monsters, but you can also now collect objects in the environment from a distance with this new
Why that
grapple
looks good.
collection tool, which you can also do on top of your brand new mount. The mounts weren't in Monster Hunter World, but it was featured in the handheld-centric Rise. It's what you expect. It's a creature that you can ride around on. And beyond letting you move at higher speeds while mounted, you can also do things like check your map, manage your inventory, sharpen your weapon, consume buffs, and heal yourself. There's some light mounted combat with a basic attack for each weapon, along with a dismounting strike. And also, this isn't new, but I just wanted to mention, yes, your Palico pet companion is of course back. These are funny, but also quite helpful, as they'll chase around monsters, smacking it, doing a little bit of damage, but also can come with some utility like laying down traps or healing you when you're injured,
I love
removing
my.
any debuffs that you happen to have on you. So beyond hunting
I
down
love
the
those
big
little
roster of
guys
monsters, Wilds also
and
features the
girls.
series' biggest play space to date, with massive open areas, freely explorable and
Mm,
interconnected to other biomes and zones. This game is looking humongous with the inclusion of your new mount. They've definitely ramped up the explorable play space, and if the subsequent biomes are anywhere near the size and depth of the one that we've played in the preview, this is going to be great. Once again, it's the next Monster Hunter game, but bigger and with some new bells and whistles. Really looking forward to this. Monster Hunter Wilds is set to release on February 28th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. But wait, before we move on, let me tell
okay, before he gets into his thing, I want to say you. Well, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not, if you see my Monster Hunter video, oh my gosh, can't talk. If you see my Monster Hunter video about the performance and everything, the performance I was getting, and another streamer, I talked about it. I actually got a upgrade for my PC. Not a big upgrade. It's not like a 40 series or 50 series. I just got a 3080 Ti, and hopefully that will help out. And I actually bought Monster Hunter already. So if you want to wait, I'll make a video that day to tell you how it performs with a little bit higher GPU with more memory and stuff, because the 3080 is coming with it has 12 gigs of RAM on it. So I'll let you know how it performs. It performs way better than my 3070 Ti with only 8 gigs. But yeah, I want one of y'all to know that, you know, it's nothing impressive. That's my tax money, and that's all my tax money. I don't make much, okay? And like I always tell everybody, I'm right here with you. Every game I play, I buy myself. If I have to fix something or buy something new for my setup, that's my money. Okay. I'm not a big YouTuber, streamer. I don't make a lot of money. I barely make money at all. Like over the past whatever, how many years, I've only made like 100 something dollars. I don't mind it. I don't care, really. I just like to ramble on and talk like I am right now. Totally sorry. We can get back into the video, but just want you to know that about Monster Hunter. I'll be playing it and everything, and I'll let you know that day. If you want to come by the stream and see how it performs yourself, don't want to wait for the video because I'm definitely going to be playing that day on stream. So come by and see yourself and make your own decision. Okay?
Tell you about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Mandragora, a dark fantasy
If you
action
wanna
RPG
watch
that blends
this,
in a
his
hand-painted
video
world.
and stuff will be
Abilities and
linked
gear, and meet
down in
by
the
selecting a
description
beginning
in this channel.
abilities. You can see here master precise secrets in the video. Access to 2 preview builds ahead of the release, so you can start playing the game immediately. All right, back into the list. The first Berserker Kazan. This is a hardcore action RPG set in the Dungeon Fighter Online universe. The game takes place on the continent of Arad and explores the untold story of Kazan, the first Berserker. Fun fact, by the way, this is apparently a spin-off of what was originally supposed to be Project BBQ, a previously in development MMORPG by the same studio. Well, they scrapped the MMO aspects and then basically retuned the game into this. I am bummed that we're not getting to see what they had in mind for the MMO. I thought it was looking quite interesting. But that said, this too is looking pretty interesting. Basically, they're trying—
I'm sorry, that would have been cool. I like MMOs. I would love to see the MMO version of this. But this I played this demo. I played the demo of it, and this is an excellent game. It feels so good. I like the game a lot. I'm definitely gonna play it when it comes out. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments, okay?
trying to capture the essence of Dungeon Fighter Online with its blend of flashy hack-and-slash combat and hardcore difficulty into what is now this single-player RPG. You'll engage in this over-the-top combat, moving through levels, smashing hordes of enemies, and then taking on difficult boss encounters. Game features include a large variety of boss fights, with the combat that is said to be easy to learn but hard to master, rewarding proper timing and positioning on top of learning every encounter. There's rather unique visuals, as you can probably see, with their 3D cel-shaded style that's meant to capture the essence of animated films. And you've got various forms of power progression and build variety. There's a wide range of weapons that include spears, dual wielding, and greatswords, and more. There are armor sets with unique bonuses, and both the weapons and armor also come with their own upgrade paths, and lots of skill combinations to pick from, as each weapon also has its own set of skills that can be combined to create and tailor to different playstyles. So yeah, this is a new single-player RPG. Combat and visuals, I think, both look quite appealing. On top of that, there is a free demo available right now where you can play through the game's first 2 levels. Now, I haven't yet to jump in myself, but from what I've read and seen, people do seem to quite enjoy this, so I will get around to checking it out probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. The first Berserker Kazan launches on March 27th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. When I first heard of this game, I just assumed, based on the name alone, that this was some long-running series or something, like the next installment in the Claire Obscure franchise, but I guess it's a brand new thing. I don't know why. For some reason, this name just feels kind of strange to me, but hey, look, I'm not one to judge solely on my initial gut reaction, and I'm glad, because after looking more into this, the premise seems kind of cool. So the game itself is a turn-based RPG that also has this unique real-time mechanics. You're going to be exploring a fantasy world that's inspired by the Belle Epoque France, in which you will battle enemies, moving through an enchanted realm populated by surreal adversaries, wandering through breathtaking landscapes from the Island of Visages to the Forgotten battlefield, discovering secrets and hidden quests along the way, finding allies of fortune and creatures of legend, recruiting special companions to access new travel methods, and discover secret areas all around the world. So as you fill out your roster of characters, you're going to be crafting these unique builds for the expeditioners that fit whatever playstyle you want, choosing from different gear, stats, skills, and synergy combinations. And then in addition to the turn-based layer of combat, they also have this active dimension where you will be dodging, parrying, and countering in real time, chaining combos together by mastering attack rhythms and targeting enemy weak points using their free aim system. So yeah, it is both a turn-based RPG, but they also have incorporated this real-time action combat within it. The game also has a rather unique premise to go along with its look and setting, that being that once a year, this paintress wakes up and paints upon her monolith a cursed number, and then everyone of that age turns to smoke and fades away. Year by year, that number ticks down and more people get erased. And then tomorrow, she's gonna be waking up and painting the number 33, and this is where the game begins and where the name comes from, as you are playing as Expedition 33, attempting to stop her. I don't know, seems pretty cool.
Damn it, I'll be gone. Fuck. I need to hurry up and turn 34. Shit.
Claire Obscure Expedition 33, despite my initial gut reaction to the name. Seems interesting, gonna check it out. This launches on April 24th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Next up is Crimson Desert, and this one is interesting for me. So I definitely think it looks good. This is an upcoming open world action RPG from Pearl Abyss, creators of one of the more successful but also controversial currently active MMOs, that being Black Desert Online. And the controversy, by the way, isn't that people don't like the game. BDO is actually a pretty good MMO in a lot of ways. The controversy is more around their monetization with some rather pay-to-win progression systems, which fortunately enough doesn't seem like it will be coming into Crimson Desert at all. When first revealed back in 2019 at Pearl Abyss Connect, this was said to be almost a spin-off born of a desire to tell the story of Black Desert's past, basically starting out as a prequel to BDO. However, as development continued, they felt the world, characters, and stories could stand out on their own and decided to spin it off into its own franchise. During that original announcement, they also said that Crimson Desert was going to be a next-gen MMO, but then along the way, over the past few years, they decided to shift it into now being a single-player RPG, which is fine because a lot of what I loved about BDO was its world building, the atmosphere, and combat, and so a single-player version of that could be really good, especially since it's also likely to mean far less, if no, predatory pay-to-win microtransactions. We have no implication that's going to happen. I'm just pointing out that their prior game, that's a big part of the discourse around it. I think it's also funny, though, that this is the second game on this list that started development as an MMO, but then shifted into a single-player RPG. Just my favorite genre of games. They're totally doomed. Although this one kept the same name and everything, so that's good, unlike Project Barbecue that turned into First Berserker. Anyway, yeah, I think Crimson Desert looks pretty good, so let's talk about it. Beyond those initial trailers, over the past couple years, we have gotten a handful of lengthier bits of gameplay footage and some detailed overviews on various systems and features. We know this is going to be a large open-world medieval fantasy game featuring diverse biomes, points of interest, cities, towns, ruins, and dungeons to explore. There will also, of course, be tons of quests with NPCs in need of help, rewarding experience and loot, strongholds full of enemies, boss battles, and a combat system that is like a mix of the sort of action combat you see in Black Desert with all these wrestling and grappling moves. Like literally we see the player like clotheslining enemies at some point, which is pretty cool. The trailers have also shown a ton of different like mechanics and systems and stuff in this game beyond the combat and exploration, with various like mini games, spots with quick time events, a whole lot of puzzles and exploration stuff. I mean, yeah, it certainly looks like it's loaded with a whole lot of different things. I'm quite hopeful. I guess probably my main early criticism is that from the gameplay that we've seen, but also some of the hands-on events that we've heard from, it seems like combat might also be a tad floaty. So hopefully they refine this, and the actual moment-to-moment gameplay feels good come release. Crimson Desert is currently set to launch at some point later this year. Okay, so those are like my main games, the one that I'm most looking forward to playing this year, but there are plenty of others totally of note. We got the next major installment of the Assassin's Creed franchise, named Shadows. This, after several delays, is finally set to release this upcoming March. There seems to be a lot of weight resting on this game's shoulders as well, Ubisoft having very publicly been going through it recently with plunging stock prices and seemingly one commercial failure after another. I mean, yeah, sure, they're still making millions of dollars, but not to the degree necessary to keep their financial backers happy, evidently. Otherwise, the stock prices would be going up and not down. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's an Assassin's Creed game. You know what to expect. This time it's set in Japan. Japan, which on its face sounds great. I loved Tenchu as a kid. I'd love more Japanese themed like stealth assassin games, right? Although the pre-launch online discourse around this one has been definitely less than stellar. I've also seen some mixed reception from some of the early hands-on events. Some people saying they really enjoyed it and it's a fun new spin on the formula. Others not so much, saying it's the same old thing and as boring as ever. Although to be fair, I think it's been a while since we've seen an Assassin's Creed game that got universal praise. Maybe Origins was the last time that happened, or Black Flag. The latest installments have just been a mixed bag. Like the past several years of Assassin's Creed games have not seen universal praise. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people don't care. I guess we will see where this one lands soon enough. I think there's certainly going to be some fun to be had with their large-scale open world stealth formula. It's what this franchise offers. They may not be the most groundbreaking games, but they can certainly provide some simple entertainment and fun, at least for me personally. Assassin's Creed Shadows will be launching on March 20th, barring any other delays, and it'll come into pretty much everything, as most Ubisoft games do. Ballad of Antara is an action RPG that features multiple playable characters. These characters, called emissaries, possess the power to traverse between two worlds, the world of normalcy and the unimaginable. The normal version of the world, common folk reside, everything's chill, normal, as you expect. In the other one, peculiar sightings and encounters await, aka the bad guys. This is where the bad guys and the bad stuff happen. So each emissary that you're going to be playing is basically their own unique class with their own gameplay capabilities and stories to uncover. In combat, players can switch between the emissaries, each with their unique abilities, weapons, and fighting styles.
So
You
it's
can
like
do the
Genshin
swapping in
Impact.
real time, unleashing special moves in the process, chaining together fast.
So it's like a better graphic version of like Genshin Impact and Withering Waves. Hopefully, like, how do you unlock the characters? Probably just playing through the story, I hope. They wouldn't put like loot boxes in the game. You had to pull for characters, right? Right? I hope not.
Fast-paced attacks and mastering precise timing and strategic ability usage. Defensively, you've got dodging, blocking, and parrying, and this is going to be one of the few multiplayer RPGs coming this year that has multiplayer support with up to 3 players. You can venture out with your friends, taking on the game's various challenges,
that's
exploring the world,
nice.
and diving into difficult
I did not
handcrafted
know that.
dungeons. This looks pretty cool. Ballad
Yeah.
of Antara coming at some point in 2025.
I did not know that. That makes me more interested in it. Multiplayer up to like what, 2 other players? That's cool. I am down. Let me know if you're thinking about getting this game and you're playing it. And if you want to play with me, I want to play with people. That'd be pretty cool. I wonder if you have I got so many questions. That's cool. I like that.
5. Alcahest is an action-adventure RPG that almost looks too good to be true. Like, I've not heard of this developer, and I couldn't find any details on them when I looked online. I'm going to keep an open and hopeful mind, though, because, yeah, this trailer looks pretty good. Alcahest is set in what they call a murky medieval world, featuring satisfying melee combat with this highly interactive environment. So you get all the basic action combat stuff. You got light and heavy attacks. You can chain attack together and build various combos. But also, with the environment, you can do stuff like dropping a tree on enemies' heads, kicking them off cliffs, or setting them on fire. It's fast-paced, close combat within a richly interactive environment. That is what they say they are going for. Also, instead of having magic, Alcahest features alchemy, whether you choose to follow a recipe or mix gathered ingredients at your own discretion, and then using the resulting substance as a throwable, as a weapon oil,
like
planting it in an enemy's pocket, or even drinking it
smell it.
yourself. Each one of these will have different outcomes for every single concoction that you come up with. They say that this is a grounded fantasy adventure. You play as the youngest son of a petty lord and need to prove your worth through hard work, sweat, and blood. You're going to explore castles, forests, and villages as you journey through multiple semi-open world locations packed with secrets and adventure, with branching gameplay options inspired by Dishonored and Kingdom Come Deliverance. Looks pretty interesting. Keen to learn more. This is coming in 2025. There's also a playtest running, which you can register for right there over on Steam. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is an upcoming action role-playing video game published by Paradox Interactive. This is the long-awaited sequel to Bloodlines and is part of the World of Darkness series based on the tabletop role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, the only Masquerade game I played was that Battle Royale. I haven't played like none of the mainline games. Let me know if you like these games and if it'd be worth like trying out or something. And if you want to see that, I'd be down.
raid. Beyond having plenty of deep and immersive role-playing elements, a lot of narrative and story to uncover, interacting with NPCs, the gameplay itself has you sustaining powers through drinking blood. So you're going to stalk and feed on the city's population during the nighttime, using your supernatural powers of persuasion on civilians to lure them into deep dark alleys and satiate your hunger. All the while, though, you have to try to attempt avoiding breaking the masquerade, as if you reveal what you are, you're going to risk punishment, first from the law enforcement. Then if you keep it up, it's gonna get even worse. Combat is said to be rewarding, entirely different playstyles and approaches based on your choices of Vampire Clan, with options that range from melee to ranged attacks, fighting head on, or taking on a stealthier approach. You're gonna fight your way through this modern day Seattle on the brink of an open war. Your choices, plots, and schemes will determine the balance of power and what becomes of the city and its people. Very, very, very highly anticipated. Really curious to see how this turns out. Bloodlines 2 is set to release in 2025. Okay, so those are like the main games of the list. Got a few honorable mentions as well. First up, Soulframe, the latest title from Warframe developer Digital Extremes. They are currently running regular alpha.
That's my baby. I play this game all the time. I do have alpha access. Prelude, they call it preludes. I play this game all the time. If you ever want me to make a video on it or watch me play it on stream, let me know, because I really enjoy this game. And pretty soon they're supposed to be coming out with like their Prelude 9, the newest update, and they're supposed to be opening the world more. And I cannot wait. Sorry, I had to tell you that. I love Soulframe. It is such a good game.
Playtest referred to as Preludes. This consists of what is a fairly small region of explorable space. They're really just laying the groundwork here, the foundation for the rest of their game. It's got open world exploration, there's various enemy camps to clear, and then these underground procedurally pieced together dungeon layouts that you can go in and explore, collecting loot and upgrading your power. I really enjoyed my time that I spent playing with this. I've got a preview up on the channel already if you want a more thorough explanation of how everything works. I think it's a decent foundation. Though the biggest complaint is probably the lack of sense of impact with the combat, which is I hope something they work on. But I think everything else about it is great. The world, the enemies, the characters, the points of interest, the overall structure of the game, I just really like it. Keeping my fingers crossed that they can give the gameplay a little more oomph, because everything else I really, really enjoy. So you can register to try to get into Preludes testing on their website. In my experience, there's at least like probably a few days to a week's worth of content to play through if you're interested, giving some early feedback. As for its release, I would say there's a non-insignificant chance that it comes to early access in 2025, late 2025, but we will see. Ghost of Yodi is a standalone sequel to the 2020 hit Ghost of Tsushima. This one centers around the theme of underdog vengeance. The story is set in Hokkaido, Japan in 1603, 329 years after the events of the first game. Players will take control of Atsu, a female warrior who adopts the persona of the ghost at the dawn of the Edo period. So the developers have said that players will have even more control over the game's narrative and choices compared to Ghost of Tsushima, while further building on the great combat, the world, and exploration of the original. I have seen some disappointment at the change of protagonists, but beyond that, I mean, I'm sure this game is going to be great if it's even remotely like the first. The Ghost of Tsushima was fantastic. So yeah, the next game looking good, set to release on PlayStation 5 in 2025. Game of Thrones King's Road. This is an upcoming action RPG set in the world of Ice and Fire. You'll explore the 7 kingdoms that make up Westeros in a vast open world with vivid landscapes, massive cities, backwater towns, untamed wilderness, and all the people and enemies that inhabit it. King's Road features 3 distinct classes inspired by the iconic archetype established in the original series, those being Knight, Sellsword, and Assassin. Each comes with its own unique strengths and weaknesses, combat mechanics, and skills, enhancing the depth of each combat encounter and providing players with options they need to play whatever playstyle they prefer. You'll encounter dangerous beasts and creatures of myth and legend from the Game of Thrones universe, defeating them alongside other lords in the forest to earn generous rewards and craft high-end gear. If you thought this kind of looks like a phone game, it's because it is. Game of Thrones King's Road is coming to mobile and PC later in 2025.
I don't know how it feels.
Outer Worlds 2, sequel to a game that people seem to really enjoy, but I gotta say, with the sort of almost lukewarm reception that we recently got from Avowed, especially its performance, it didn't really seem to take off that well, or at least not as well as I assumed the developer would have hoped. I wouldn't be too surprised for that reason if this launch gets pushed out of 2025 into 2026, just so they can make sure they get it absolutely right. We will see. Also,
No, they
Fable.
like stuff
I'd say
to
with
be
this
mid.
one, unless we hear otherwise in the coming months, maybe we're getting a late 2025 release, if anything. Otherwise, this could be another game that gets pushed into 2026. As for what we know, really not a whole heck of a lot. We know that this reboot is set to retain the original trilogy's world, humor, and gameplay elements, but that's basically it as far as detailed information. Hoping to hear some more soon, and yeah, maybe it does come out later this year. I would absolutely love that. Definitely coming this year is the RPG classic Gothic remake, letting you once again explore this handcrafted organic open world that reacts dynamically to your actions. They're calling this a faithful remake, fully rebuilt using current gen technology, preserving the iconic atmosphere while enhancing the gameplay for a better experience. You've got this expansive world with over 50 hours of gameplay, which is going to include you exploring both old and new secrets to discover. And everything people loved about the original, from its dynamic living world to its branching story and interesting gameplay, that is all making a return, with enhanced combat, a modernized system that updates the core mechanics, offering a more fluid and dynamic experience. But Gothic is getting a full-blown remake, and it's looking pretty good. All right, well, that does it for our list of some of the best looking new RPGs coming in 2025. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, this is far from every new RPG that we'll be getting this year, but these are the ones I wanted to highlight, the ones I'm most interested in, the most noteworthy. Let me know below if there's anything else that you are especially looking forward to that didn't happen.
Good video. I like it. Go ahead and give him a like if you want. I'm gonna give him a like. I'm already subscribed to him. If you want to, you can subscribe to him. His video will be linked down in the description, and his channel will too. So, but I want to talk about this game right here. I'm not really a big fan of turn-based RPGs, but this one it's hitting different, you know. It's just, I see it, I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play that game. So this is one of, it's like 3 of them that I'm really excited for. This is one. I just wish yeah, people didn't die when you're 33. Yeah, 'cause that's a kind of a bad age. This game right here, I really want to play this. I didn't know this had like a multiplayer feature to it. This game is interesting. Really interesting. So you get like different characters, and it's basically what it seems like, kind of like Genshin Impact, Withering Waves, kind of that style. You collect different characters. They have their own abilities, own weapons and everything. But I like the art style, I like the graphics, and it's multiplayer, so you can play with, I think, 2 other people. Awesome, amazing. And I mean, the first Berserker too. I really want to play that. This is fun. I played the demo for this game. Fun. It's a fun game. It's a good ass game. But my big game that I'm right here, baby, Soul Frame. If you ever came by the channel, you probably see me playing Soul Frame. I love this game. This is a good game. Is it the best? Does it have its problems? No and yes. Okay. They can still work on some stuff, which they probably are, but I can't wait to actually get a hold of the full game. It's gonna be amazing, but I'm out. Leave me a like if you want to, subscribe to me for more videos, and ring that bell, okay? And like I say, I always stream every Monday through Friday. Some days I'm really fucking late, but I will be on stream even if it's for an hour or 2, okay? So, if you ever just want to talk to me live, I'm here. YouTube and Twitch, okay? Like I always say before I leave, have a good day or night, whenever you're watching this. Peace.